We're alive and well on set of We're the Fast Lane Annies.
73 Apple, take one, speed.
Seymour, action.
From day one of shooting, we had a very, very special goal. And that was to try to make a movie that had the FFA, the hero. Try to make a movie that could do for the FFA what Top Gun did for fighter pilots.
You are the future of agriculture.
I'm Scott Reeves. I play the character of Jack Morgan. I can really relate to the Jack Morgan character, first of all, because I grew up in Los Angeles, California. So I grew up trying to make it to the top of the ladder, the corporate ladder, the financial ladder. You can lose yourself when you're in a place like that.
Action.
My roots are in the South. My dad's from Arkansas, my mom's Tennessee, and my grandparents and their parents all had farms when I was growing up. So we'd come back and visit, and I begged and pleaded with my parents to move to the country so I could be a farmer. And this is the first project I've worked on in my career where I got to be a farmer to a degree. And so it's been fun. It's the subject matter is really close to my heart.
Grandpa, this is Ted.
Well, how you doing, Ted? How about you come and help me bring my bags in?
Now?
Yeah. My name's Mac Davis. I'm playing the patriarch of the Morgan family. They call me Big Jack. I'm Jack Morgan's father, and it's a good character. He's unhappy with his son's family situation. He doesn't feel like his son is really spending enough time with his kids. And he's trying to kind of teach him the importance of letting the business sit on the back burner for a while and reestablish his relationship as a father. That's what I do. I try to do it with humor. We're trying to put a little fun in the guy. Trey, this is the wave of the future.
The guy who plays my dad is Mac Davis, who is a legend in his own right. He's one of the biggest songwriters on the planet, and also an actor. He's been on Broadway, and I grew up with Mac on my TV. I watched his show every week with my family, and so when I heard that he was going to be playing my father, I was over the moon, man. I couldn't wait to meet him and pick his brain, and he was exactly what I thought he would be. He was the most humble, authentic person that I had come across in a long time. There was a father-son bond that was just there, you know, from the get-go, and I credit that to him because he was an open book from day one. Nothing fake about Mac, and he was about as real as you get. I know it's been tough since Mom passed.
I really miss her, son.
Yeah.
I identify with Little Jack quite a bit because early on in my career as a songwriter, singer, entertainer, actor, whatever, I had a hard time establishing a relationship with my own son, my youngest son. And even after all these years, he's 50 years old now, and we're just now beginning the good part of our relationship. And that's kind of what this movie is about. It's about not letting your family values slip away because you're trying to become the big guy on the block, if you want to call it that. I had a poem, part of a song I wrote, said, 30-something years ago, I was watching Scotty grow. And he grew up to be a fine young man, but he did it in spite of me. I wasn't really there to see. I was too busy being me in a five-man band. And that's kind of why I identify with Big Jack. Big Jack is trying to teach somebody not to make the same mistakes, you know, he might have or might not have made. Apparently Big Jack didn't make those mistakes, but if he did, he learned from them. So.
My name is Melissa Reeves. I'm playing Rachel Morgan on the set of Where the Fast Lane Ends here. Love the character of Rachel. I love that she's strong for her family and her children and her husband, and that she sort of sets the tone in her home. And I think she might be so focused on her busy life that she forgets the simple life. So she knows that her husband comes from these beautiful agricultural roots, and I love that we go back to his roots and just spend time with his family and the simple time together as family and just quality time around the dinner table. And so I love just the journey that our family takes through the whole film. It's interesting because our family did not the same thing, but very similar. We were living this very fast-paced life in LA, and we decided to leave it all. And we literally live in the country outside of Nashville, and we love it. And we have goats and dogs and cats, and we're working on donkeys and cows and chickens. So we're sort of wannabe farmers. Yeah. But look, there's still one cat out there.
My name is Emily Reeves. I'm playing Sarah Morgan. She is an 18-year-old kind of snobby vegan chick from Atlanta who is very softened by the country and by the love interest, Cooper Swindell. She goes from really having a guard up to kind of letting her guard down because she's finally found a place where she can be herself.
Hey, I'm Jason Early, and I'm playing Trey Morgan. Trey is a 16-year-old kid from the city, and throughout his life to this point, his dad hasn't really been around, so he just kind of sits in his room, plays video games, and doesn't really know who he is. But thankfully, throughout this film, he kind of comes out of his shell because of Big Jack and because of Cooper helping him grow up a little bit, like on the farm, learning how to drive a tractor, how to fly a drone. And all these different things and experiences help him come out of his shell and become who he really is supposed to be.
Well, I'm Marshall Chapman, and I play Aunt Kate in Where the Fast Lane Ends. My character is a badass, and she's also a bad loser. You're out! And her team has always won at paintball, and this is the first year she's had to eat a little humble pie. But of course, she doesn't think she's lost because nobody hit her. And so she's telling everybody that won that they need to sleep with one eye open, which I think is probably the line that propels this into a sequel.
It's just this, Aunt Kate. This is gonna hurt, but it's gonna hurt a lot worse if we lose. All right, I'm gonna get open. She may miss. You go for the flag.
Die, maggot, die!
So the story is about a family from the big city who returns to see the father's father, who is the kid's grandfather, and visit his farm for a couple of weeks. When they get there, everything changes. For the father, there's trouble. And the trouble is he's being chased by an investigative reporter trying to bring him down.
I think there are a lot of, misinformation about the farming industry in general. And I think we're trying to dispel a lot of those myths and just non-truths about the farming industry. I grew up on a farm. I love being able to, as much as bad publicity and the media makes, sometimes farming and the animal rights folks, I just love being able to tell the true story about our farming industry, and the people in it are just fantastic people. And being involved with them is a true blessing. I've become very passionate about spreading the good message of farming and the good message of the ag industry.
Man, it's so beautiful and peaceful out here. Yet, I'm told this is where our environment's getting destroyed. The cows using up all our natural resources.
I guess you've been talking to the wrong people, son.
My name is Michael Chase, and I play the role of Henson Hughes in Where the Fast Lane Ends. Henson Hughes is a famous New York journalist who comes down to the farming community here in Tennessee to uncover the malpractices going on. Henson Hughes is under the impression that there's hormones and steroids added to the feed, etc. And he quickly learns that it's a futile endeavor discovering bad stuff. So where are all the hormones and the steroids added? You've only shown me the feed.
In the United States of America, it is illegal to feed either steroids or hormones to chickens. Now, we do put a whole lot of vitamins and minerals and other good nutrients in the feed.
To prepare for the role of Henson Hughes, I watched a lot of 60 Minutes, Steve Croft, Scott Pelley, Anderson Cooper. And can you believe that actually people think I look like Anderson Cooper?
Hi, I'm CARRIE TILLIS, and I'm playing Louise Finley. And we just came off set. Today was a pretty intense day. This is the day that I let the New York reporter, the big reporter that has come to town, I let him have it, basically.
Oh, there are things that I would like to call you all right, none of which I can say in public.
Yeah, he was a little misinformed, swaying the truth just a little bit, and I had to set the record straight.
I will not be used as a pawn, and you do not know the first thing about me. You tweet, and I quote, "Met Louise Finley here, veggie English teacher, raised on a chicken farm, trapped in this small farm town. Won't eat chicken. Why? What does she know?"
I just thought because you don't eat chicken.
I don't eat chicken because I don't like chicken, not because it's unhealthy or there's anything wrong with it.
Really? What about the added hormones and the steroids?
You know, it would always drive my dad crazy to see a chicken labeled with a sticker that said no hormones added, insinuating that chicken without that label actually had hormones or steroids added. And the truth is, Mr. Hughes, there are no added hormones to chickens. And while I'm at it, let's just talk about the cage-free, natural, organic poultry that claims to be better for you than chicken that comes from one of those big factory farms. The truth is, Mr. Hughes, there's no difference. It's all marketing. There's nothing wrong with choosing organic if you don't mind spending money for the same nutrition as conventionally raised chicken. I know what you've been told about farms like my dad's, Mr. Hughes, but come on. Don't be a fool. My dad provides the same nutritious, safe food, frankly, at a better price. You know what? I'm not through. I like to think of myself as open-minded and liberal, but I also believe in what is good and what is true, and you have used me to sway and smear the truth, but that just seems to be the way of the media these days, doesn't it? I have always respected your work, Mr. Hughes, but when did you let integrity fly out the window?
You're right. I assumed and I shouldn't have assumed. But it was just a tweet. I'm sorry.
My name is Madison Brown, and I play Emmy, the waitress.
Drum roll, please.
I'm really excited about the message of this movie. I did grow up with cattle in my front yard. I know so much, especially lately in the media, has been coloring the food industry and like very traditional farming practices as, you know, not being that great for you, with all this stuff about, I know Louise's scene today was about the added hormones and steroids and chickens, and it's kind of funny when you grow up with it and you know that so much of that stuff just isn't true, and then you kind of hear what people who didn't grow up with it actually think. So I think this film is doing a lot to really shed an accurate light on what really goes on, because so many people I've learned just they didn't grow up on a farm, or they don't have access to this kind of stuff. And so maybe, you know, this film will actually give them some firsthand experience and knowledge, and at least just really get them digging into it themselves. I know.
Listen, I have a reputation to keep up here.
I'm
I'm Christopher Knight, and I play Richard Cooley Swindell. And I am the feed mill manager and best friends, lifelong best friends of Jack Morgan, our hero. Quite impressed from what I've learned about where farming is at. I mean, to all of us in the big cities, we are left with the impression that there isn't any more real independent farming. Farming doesn't have a human face, it has a corporate Darth Vader-like presence, and that's clearly not the case once you really learn about farming. But it's vulnerable without its own message to the messages of others. And so this movie is an attempt to, in fact, help share what the farmers know about farming and where they're at in the whole farming equation about delivering healthy food alternatives and enough quantity food to keep a growing population fed. I mean, that's the real struggle, in that we have a hugely overpopulated planet, but we have to feed the people that are on it. And the farmers are using technology and science to help accomplish that.
Henson Hughes. Hello, Mr. Hughes. How are you? Pleasure. Pleasure's all mine. You have some questions? I sure do. I hope we have the answers.
Within this movie, there are many different themes and messages that are going on with agriculture, with feeding the world, with technology. But one of the ones that stuck out to me the most is feeding the world, because they talk about in the movie how 1 in 5 kids in even your hometown don't have sufficient food, and that's true for my hometown in East Tennessee. I know of kids that would come to school and their only meals they got that day were their food at school. They go home and come back to school hungry the next day because they couldn't get food at home. And so this movie is shedding light on that issue.
A very special part of this movie, to me, is Drive to Feed Kids. Now, Drive to Feed Kids initiative is in this movie, it's in the story, and it was really important for us to make it not just a mention, but to make it a big part. It's important for us to show the audience that the ag world is taking the lead, is literally out in front, helping kids and saving lives. And you're going to see that in this movie.
We are working with an organization called Farmers Fighting Hunger. And to get to do this and expose through entertainment and film just the domestic hunger we have here in America has been really a passion and a goal for us to get that message out, because it does exist here in our own neighborhoods in America. So for us to be able to incorporate a great entertainment story along with getting this message out, for me is very, very rewarding.
You drive around the country, you see farms, cows, oh, those are beautiful, that's a beautiful setting, and oh, there's a dairy farm and this and that, but you don't realize that's what's feeding, that's really what's feeding our world. This has been probably one of the most pleasant experiences I've ever had in my career, working on a project. Instantly, something I knew that I couldn't wait to be a part of and couldn't wait to jump in.
The crew and cast all together have been phenomenal. It's become like such a family for me, honestly.
My husband in the movie is my husband. My daughter is my daughter, which was just the greatest blessing. And we may never, all three of us, get to work together like that again.
To get to work with my family is such, that's a dream come true.
Oh, they're looking for good TV now, aren't they?
You can read the whole thing. I just want to read you this one paragraph, okay?
It's been a wonderful experience. These are great people. It's like family. We've all been hugging each other's neck and enjoying being with each other. And
this is absolutely the worst day of my life. Yeah, how can anybody actually work in weather like this? In all honesty, it's the easiest film I've ever done. No arguments, no hassles. Nope. Good crew. If I could just remember my lines, it would be a perfect experience.
This set has been a joy to work on. Everybody on set is incredibly nice, and it's been an honor to work with some of these people like Mac Davis, and Mark Miller, and Melissa Reeves, and Scott Reeves. Everybody are just, they're legends in their craft. And then there's me, I'm just new in this whole world.
I've had a lovely time on the set of Where the Fast Lane Ends. Mark Miller's fantastic. The cast is amazing. The crew, Tom Weber, the director, amazing man. Really smart guys. It's been a really great opportunity. Very relaxed set. Everybody's having a great time making this movie about farming. And I'm really privileged and proud to be a part of it.
I just love being part of a film with so much heart behind it.
So what's really cool about this movie is that it's not just going to be a great movie, it's a great movie with a greater purpose.
It's great to be entertained, but I think one of the more important things that a film provides is a way to drive a message home. And the message that this movie deals with is a message that's close to my heart because it deals with people's needs and world hunger, and we, that's a big problem in our world today. There's a lot of people that need to be fed, and so I think this movie is going to be able to tell a story and help people understand why we need to continue doing the things we are doing with science and farming together, and how that can help us to be able to provide those needs for children and for people around the world.